In this dark and difficult time, while we mark and commemorate the Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning since the October 7th massacre, while we are still burying our dead and tending our wounded, while we pray and will do everything in our capacity to bring our hostages home, while the entire Israel has mobilized for war against Hamas, we have seen a resurgence of anti-Semitism around the world, from Russia to France, and here in America, in our campuses and in our streets. It is precisely now that we must ask new questions. And so, I turn to you, I turn to us at the closing of this Z3 conference. And I want to ask, what does it mean to be an American Zionist? From the time that I was a little girl, I thought that I understood the meaning of Zionism. My Zionism was my mother's example, how she and her sister left their family and their Spanish city of Melilla behind and moved to Israel when she was just 12 years old. My Zionism was my own family's Aliyah, when my father led a group of 40 families that moved together from Argentina to Israel. My Zionism were the dozens of books that my parents bought to make sure that my siblings and I would not forget Hebrew, that we would not forget Israel, even as we returned to South America. My Zionism were the heroes and the heroines of those books. My Zionism was Sarah Aronson, the pioneer and spy of Nili, who fought the Ottomans, dreaming of Jewish independence. My Zionism were the brave underground fighters who went up against the British mandate and did everything in their capacity to smuggle in Jews fleeing the Nazi horror of Europe to give them nothing less than life in mandatory Palestine. My Zionism were the letters of Yoni Netanyahu, Michtavei Yoni, his idealism, his courage, his optimism, these values, these traits that were open for the entire world to see in the audacious Entebbe rescue, where he lost his life. And I must admit, embarrassed, that my Zionism assumed that these hard times, these challenges, were all in the past. I envied those men and women who sacrificed so much to give us a state of Israel. I thought the glory of the Zionist founders were just a memory that we could look at, something that happened a long time ago. I took the safety and the existence of Israel for granted. My Zionism took the sacrifice, the heroism of the founders of the State of Israel for granted. And I think much of our American Zionism has done the same. Our American Zionism has deep and beautiful and strong and stubborn roots. And we, whether we were born here or whether we moved here, we should be proud of everything that our communities have accomplished in supporting Israel, the national project of the Jewish people. But our Zionism was based on luxury beliefs, beliefs that were shattered on October 7th. We believed that Israel faced no more existential threats. Oh, how wrong we were. We believed that we Jews around the world face no more Jew hatred. Oh, how naive we were. Now, the reason that we had these luxury beliefs is that our generation experienced decades of peace and calm and prosperity, so much so that intellectuals began talking of the end of history. And so, we stopped thinking of Israel as embattled, and we began talking of it only as a startup nation. And so we sent hundreds of thousands of young Jews from the diaspora. We sent them on a free trip to Israel. And we told them this was their birthright. And we did not ask from them or demand from them to think of Israel as their obligation in return. And so we allowed ourselves to engage in petty infighting, gatekeeping fellow Zionists because we disagreed with them on questions of politics or policy. And we did this while offering excuses and platitudes and the soft bigotry of low expectations for a small but loud group of young American Jews who have imbibed and now promote a new and dangerous form of anti-Zionism. But this illusion of safety is over. The sadism of October 7th, the massacre, the fact that it's been a month and our babies, our elders, our beautiful people are still in the hands of Hamas. The anti-Semitism that we see, the mobilization of Israeli society, the absolute moral bankruptcy of so many enlightened parts in the West that cannot condemn terrorism when its victims are Israeli Jews. Our complacency is shattered. And so it is precisely now, at this moment, that we must forge a new American Zionist covenant. We must lead a new movement. We must become a new generation. We must become a new generation of American Zionists. We who have witnessed the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. How dare we not pick up the shattered pieces of our illusions and our assumptions and forge a new path forward for our people and for the world. Our new American Zionism must be based on two unimpeachable truths. The first truth is that we are back in Jewish history. That the words that we say every Passover, every Pesach, שבכל דור ודור עומדים עלינו לכלותנו, that in every generation they rise up against us to destroy us, that these words are true. The courage of the founding father of political Zionism, Theodor Herzl, was in his clear-eyed vision. He understood that there is no country, there is no society, there is no place, there is no time in the world that is too enlightened, that is too progressive to be immune to the poison of anti-Semitism. And today, let us recognize, thank God, we are nowhere near as precarious as 19th and 20th century Jews. Thank God we have friends, we have allies, we have people of good conscience who are ready to stand with us. But we must accept the truth of our vulnerability. Our mandate from October 7th, our mandate from Jewish history, our mandate from Jewish memory, our mandate from the millions of Jewish parents who could not protect their children is clear. Our first truth as American Zionists is that we are back in Jewish history. Our second truth as American Zionists is that even as much of the world has not changed, even as hatred of Jews runs rampant, that we have changed. We are not passive. We are not helpless. We will not accept the world as it is, with its brokenness and with its hatred. We will fight back, we will rise, we will do everything to achieve the world as it should be. This was the double brilliance of Herzl. Herzl wanted to fight the oppression endemic to Jewish history, not by waiting for the world to change, but by demanding that we Jews change. And this was the truth that he gave to early Zionists. Early Zionists were outnumbered. They had little to no political capital, but they would not give up. They would not stop. They would not cease dreaming. They would believe in the impossible. They would believe in miracles. They would do everything in their power to make the impossible happen. And they succeeded. They created a national homeland for the Jewish people. They made the desert bloom. This was their truth. And in this truth, they were inspired. They reclaimed the past of Jewish history. Early Zionists reclaimed biblical and Second Temple history with its Jewish defiance and its Jewish military might. Early Zionists reclaimed Samson, Shimshon, how when he was blind and bound, he still stood up against his Philistine captors and brought them down. Early Zionists reclaimed the voice of prophetess Devorah Neviah, who led her people in song into battle and into victory. Early Zionists reclaimed the Maccabees and how they stood up defiant against the might of the Greek Empire. Early Zionists reclaimed the courage of the rebels at Metzadah, who stood up and refused to give in. They gave up their life before they submitted to their enemies. Early Zionists reclaimed the might of Bar Kokhba, the glory, who was able to raise up an army of Jewish warriors who stood up against the Romans. Early Zionists reclaimed the spirit of defiance, the spirit of Jewish might of refusing to accept the world as it is and instead fight for the world as it should be. And we have seen this spirit, this Zionist spirit, emerge as a shining beacon of light in Israel since October 7th. We have seen our brothers and sisters in Israel who, while anxious and grieving and wounded, have risen up like a nation of lions, like a people of warriors, like a Zionist people. They have risen up with a Zionist spirit of heads held high, looking at a world that is often hostile, confident in the moral righteousness of their path, and united in absolute solidarity and absolute love for each other. And so this must be right now our new American Zionist covenant, one forged in the fire of October 7th. These are our truth. Our first truth is that much of the world is not going to change, and that we're back in Jewish history. Our second truth is that even as the world hasn't changed, even as Bechol Dor Vador is here, that we must be nothing less and nothing more than the heirs of the Zionist founders who tell us right now to rise up and to fight back with everything that we have in us. And if these are our truth, the following must be our promises. Never again shall we take Israel's security and our safety for granted. Never again shall we be passive and wait for those who hate us to rediscover their own humanity. Never again shall we be Jews with trembling knees, apologizing for our very existence. And never, ever, ever, ever shall we give in to despair. Friends, this calling that is before us right now this new covenant, this moment, we have been here before in Jewish history. In the most intense part of the book of Esther, our heroine queen is in the Persian palace, alone, terrified, her Jewish identity hidden, knowing that her people are in absolute danger. And her uncle Mordechai turns to her and tells her words that we hear here, right now. He tells her, Esther, if you remain quiet at this time, salvation and deliverance will come to the Jewish people from a different place, but you and your family will be forgotten. Esther, he tells her, the question before you is not whether the Jewish people will survive. We are the people of eternity. We will survive anything. The question before you, the calling that you have right now at this time, Mordechai says, is whether you will be the one to author the salvation of your people. Umi yodea, he adds, and who knows, Umi yodea, im le'et kazot igat lamalchut. If it is not for this reason, for this purpose, that you are here in this palace wearing this crown. Friends, all of us sitting here today, this is the question. This is our calling. This is our opportunity for us to hear the words of Mordechai and for us to right now, use the crowns that we were given, the palaces that we have entry to, the talents, the abilities, the resources that we have, and we can choose right now to follow in Esther's example and to courageously step forward and step up for the salvation and deliverance of our people. And this calling, this question of Jewish history, it didn't only come a long time ago in Persia to our Jewish queen. Not too long ago, in this very land, it was 1948, and Golda Meir was sent to raise money to buy weapons for the Jewish community in Israel. The Zionist founders were under no illusions. They knew they were going to face an onslaught of Arab armies sworn to their destruction. They did not know what would happen. They knew that if they were to lose, the consequences would be catastrophic. And they understood that even if they were to win, the cost would be incredibly heavy. Golda Meir flew to Chicago, and she stood in front of the Council of Jewish Federations, anxious but determined. I want to say to you, friends, she said, that the Jewish community in Palestine will fight to its very end. If we have arms, we will fight with those. And if not, we will fight with stones in our hands. Her words are unambiguous. The Zionist spirit is clear. Our calling, our covenant, our American Zionism is to join, is to look at whatever crowns we have, whatever arms, whatever stones, to use our prayers, our voices, our wallets, our political capital, our American values, our very souls, and to do everything to become lifelong warriors for our people. Friends, we have difficult days ahead. But we cannot and must not give in to despair. We cannot and will not abandon our brothers and sisters in Israel. We will not stop praying. We will not stop doing everything in our capacity to bring our hostages home. And we will do this. We will rise as a people of warriors for our nation, for our society, for humanity at large, with our heads held high and proud. So let us declare the following. Ani ma'amin. I believe. We believe. אני מאמינה באמונה שלמה. I believe with complete faith. We believe that the state of Israel and the people of Israel will overcome this darkest of chapters and will rise up strong. אני מאמין. I believe, we believe, that we will partner with friends and allies and people of good conscience around the world, and we will fight back against anti-Semitism and build a better society for all. אני מאמין. I believe, we believe. I believe with complete faith that one day we will see the prophecy of Isaiah come true, that we will see peace, that nation shall not lift up sword against nation, not shall they learn and teach more any war. I believe with complete faith in the efforts of those who even now have the courage to plant seeds for peace, those who dream of a day in which the children of Abraham, Israelis and Palestinians, Jews and Muslims can coexist, in which parents everywhere can give their children a future free from terror and filled with love. אני מאמין, we believe, I believe, that if each and every one of us rises up, that if we are united, that if we do everything in our capacity, that if we uphold this new American Zionist covenant, that our communities can rise up strong and help write the next chapter of our people. אני מאמין. I believe, we believe. אם תרצו, אין זו אגדה. If we will it, it is no dream. עם ישראל חי.